Hey, welcome, Void Jumpers. It is Wednesday, my favorite Wednesday of the week. So happy to have you here with us. This is an actual play RPG live stream on Twitch. You might have caught on to that so far. We play this game. It's called Monster of the Week by Michael Sands, and it's a wonderful system, and I encourage you to use it. We've bastardized it and turned it into something altogether different for our purposes, but it works well for that too, and they encourage it. Okay, so let me welcome all my cool friends. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Hello.
I don't have any of my own non-Void Jumpers updates today, so I'm going to kick it over to my main dude, Trin, to give us a democracy corner, and then we're going to talk about Void Jumpers.
I want to put that on a business card now, I think. Trin Miller, main dude.
Main dude.
Main dude.
You've earned it. It's a good title. Even like in a video game capacity, having like a main dude, it's like, oh, that's who you put in when you're like, no, I just need to win. So that's you're our main dude.
I take it. I appreciate it. I'll roll with it. Hey everybody, welcome to Democracy Corner. So today's been a pretty momentous day, as I am sure that all of you know. I personally have been glued to my screen all day, which I'm sure is not good for my mental health or my eye health, but here it is. It's great that he has been impeached again, but in order for that to mean anything, there needs to be some very significant votes in the Senate. And it looks like we will have enough votes in the Senate to be able to pass a resolution saying he won't be able to run for office again, which is great. So you should definitely contact your senators and let them know that you support that resolution. As of right now, it remains to be seen whether or not there will be the votes in the Senate to convict and for removal. So what I am encouraging all of you to do is investigate if you have a senator who is particularly if you had a senator who objected. So if any of you are in Alabama, please research who you pays your senator's bills and contact them. But what I'm encouraging people to do is that one of the things that really seems to be moving the needle for some Republicans is actually the suspension of campaign donations. So hit them in the pocketbook. Research, especially those who objected to the Electoral College vote, figure out who their top corporate donors are. And I think it's time for a campaign to say, like, hey, you will no longer have my business if you can continue to support this candidate who supports not fairly seating a free and fair election. So I am new to opensecrets.org. Maybe that's something many of you have more familiarity with, but it seems like a pretty cool website. And it is my official recommendation for this week is to take a look at that website, figure out who your locals are and what big corporations support them, and use your people power. Okay. And I will drop that link in the chat right now.
Thank you, Democracy Corner. Okay. Why don't we let the recap roll, and then we'll talk about some stuff.
Oh, yeah. I like this recap. It's funny. Trin's funny.
Aurora Borealis! But there's only one thing that we can say to you. We forgive you.
No! You are no longer a vampire or Slakta.
I just look at my friends and say,
Ah! Slakta!
Something doesn't need to be purely symbolic to be very symbolic.
Okay, that's gonna take me a while to turn over. But yeah, I mean, if it's just symbolic, if it's just for show and all that stuff, then yeah, I'll give it back. I just wanna see how it feels first.
Tilt up a little on your screen.
I want to apologize for hypnotizing you. I need to make this right, so just tell me something to do and I'll do it.
Great. Make me your apprentice.
Happy to see ya. There's an unknown magical intruder on board. Blackout.
What if it's one of us?
Oh my god, what if you are the next big bad? So, the biggest thing to note after last episode is that you guys are all back to your regular characters. No longer are you the blight classes that we devised. However, I did change all of the names of our stats to the stat names we were using on blight because I just like saying those things better and they leap to mind more. So we'll be using dexterity, strength, lore, charisma, and magic. And I will be putting those in where they need to be put in, and you'll find out all about it. That being said, the way that we're going to be doing level ups is kind of retroactively awarding the level ups that you had from Blight as a kind of currency. So, who all leveled up?
We rolled the best.
High five.
Okay.
Me and Lisa.
I also leveled up. I just didn't want to go first.
Okay. Lisa, we're going to go with you first because you want something and I'm going to let you have it begrudgingly and we're going to figure out how to fix it. Probably not today. If you want to use it today, we'll just wing it. I won't. You don't feel like you can't. Well, the rules we use today might not be the same rules going. Action, there's action.
Tag Sam, hashtag Bryn, let's get off to a good start.
Oh, Wags just gave a +1 to all 4 good
Damn.
hero players.
Wow.
Wow.
Take
Thank you,
it,
Wags.
Jesse.
Thank you, Eggs.
Yeah, thank you for your discerning vote there for the 4 players, Wags. I appreciate that. Not this chump.
No,
Who's already
that's how
banked
I
5 hard moves.
refer to you as heroes, you know? He
I did
recognizes
that.
the
He
gray
didn't do
area
that.
at which you fall. Bryn is calling you guys heroes. She's the one who was suckling on Danny DeVito's leg not too long ago, trying to drain him of all his life juice. Let's just remember that.
It was
Speaking
worth
of,
it.
Bryn, what would you like to take for your level up?
I would like to take hypnosis because it was so fun.
Okay. I think that once you get back to your regular magical body, the idea of hypnosis is not hard for you to translate into an actionable spell using the powers that you're familiar with. So if you use it today, we might just wing it or use the old rules that we had. But going forward, we'll figure out how you can use it and limit it just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, you can have hypnosis. What about you, Sam and Puck?
So I think for Sam, his acquaintance with magic over the course of the entire last arc, or this entire arc, as well as a certain amount of evening of his temperament has made him less resistant to him and Puck inhabiting the same space-time. And I think there may be an opportunity for some of the original intent of Air Dobbins to be realized moving forward. That there may be more of an immediately accessible simultaneous bond between them, even when Sam is fully Sam. There may be some way to tap into some of that void energy. And I have a couple of thoughts of how that might take place, but I think there might be a fun exploration there of seeing the unification of these two entities as opposed to a greater distance growing between them, a greater merging actually taking place.
I love it. Is it something that you're going to want to have happen in a moment, or you got a move that you want to take to start? Action!
I would like to point out that Hey Dad disrobed in front of Bryn and Tag before hopping in the Malice Pool last episode. So both Bryn and Tag have seen Hey Dad naked and his quote regular-sized evil nerds unquote hashtag hack attack.
Wait, what's the hack attack?
That's $25 to a hack attack. Hack attack is chat gets to devise any event to happen to us
Okay.
during the game. So yeah.
Okay, so that's towards that.
Yes.
All right. Yes, I guess. Initially, I had not conceived that as a nude scene, but
Evil-sized nards. No, regular-sized evil nards.
I think chat has spoken. You know.
Half-Dad has nards.
I also
Does
really
now.
like that the bot pronounces half dad hey dad. It's like any old hey dad was coming by.
Sam, you got to move, or you want to let it happen in a moment?
So the first thing that came to mind is that it's sort of like a purple umbra that surrounds Sam, almost like a smaller puck suit that's like purple outlines, but the rest of it is translucent, like he's in some sort of prismatic like mech suit kind of that gives him either some puck-like abilities, or it's almost like he's got access to Puck's resistance or strength for like a small period of time or something like that.
I like the resistance. It's almost like a protective shell, like Puck stepping into this realm to protect you. And I think also it can be used as a reaction. You word this however you like when you're trying to figure out how to put it down. It can be used as a reaction, and it'll have, I'm going to start using charges. It'll have 3 charges to start. And it can be used as a reaction to an attack to absorb up to 4 magical damage per use. And then if you want to, after you expend 3 charges, you can then use those as like the way that Slocta was absorbing your guys' spells to drop bombs on you. Okay. You can, after you expend 3 charges absorbing magic, you can do a thing.
Oh,
and
cool.
I think, well, the thing will be context sensitive. You know, like you almost certainly will be doing something dangerous when you're absorbing magic, so you will be able to use it to do business.
Cool. Sounds sweet.
All right. And I think it'll look exactly how you described. Because I just like the image of you being wrapped up in a puck.
Yeah, it's like you can see Sam in there, but something about it's somewhere between Tron and Nimrod from the old X-Men cartoons. Do you guys know Nimrod?
Mm-mm.
So
I remember the old X-Men cartoons.
Okay, so in the old X-Men cartoons, if you go to the future, you have like the Sentinels, right? And they were like pretty dangerous. But then if you go even further into the future to like Cable Time, there was like this other smaller sort of like android type thing called Nimrod that was just like, well, you can't kill that. That's just some silliness. Anyway, I'll see if I can find a picture of it and put it in chat for you guys to get a sense of sort of, oh, it might also look a little bit like the Michael Jackson robot from Moonwalker. I don't know if you guys remember that at all. Anyway, moving on.
All right, Rex, what do you got?
So if you'll allow it, I want a Thor's Hammer Graflex.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
I can't fly with it, and I can't like travel interdimensionally with it, but I want the ability to be able to like throw it a distance and then summon it back to me whenever I want, and maybe fly a little bit with it.
And maybe just go in between 1 or 2 dimensions.
Yeah, we're going to have a scene with you later in which you obtain this modification to Graflex. I had a scene in mind. I think this being the business in it is perfect.
Nice.
Cool?
Cool.
And you'll have to roll once for it, but you're going to get some pluses, and you'll basically have Graflex and then see how cool it is on top. It'll look like Thor's hammer. You'll at least get the retrieval ability, and then we'll see like what else you get on top of that.
Okay.
I think that is a solid level
Well, I
up.
want Graflex to stay looking like Graflex. I don't want to change its appearance.
Okay,
Just
then
its
yes.
functions.
Yes. We just got a picture of.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay.
You'd be able to see like Sam in there, and it would be purple.
Okay, I think that's all of the business. Tag, you didn't level up?
Not 3 times.
You were rolling too hot?
Yeah.
I was wrong. Shoot.
Okay, so let's jump back in. You've recently completed the Blight mission, defeated Slokta in her first and second form, and returned to Haven after... What's the action?
I'm so embarrassed for you, whoever that was.
It's not my computer, sadly. My phone is linked to my computer, so
So
spam. So it was really important.
So, one thing to note. Okay, so you're on the bridge. Let's just jump in, okay? You're on the bridge. You've just spoken to Matt Vansel, who's called you there. This is following the scene in which Sam has now become Bryn's magic apprentice. Captain Matt Vansel called you to the bridge and brought you in. The only people on there were him and CNAC88, who just kind of waved and said, "What's up?" and let Matt Vansel give you a little information. The last thing you heard him say was, "Something followed you back to the ship. The energy reading was similar to the disruption to the planet's bubble, the one which let us send word down to you. But once you boarded Haven, the mystery's signature flared up again, then disappeared completely. Something followed you back. Have you any idea what it might be?"
I look at Tag.
What?
And yeah.
I don't quite get that Tag still doesn't get subtlety, so he out loud goes, "What? Why are you looking at me? Did I toot in the hangar bay?"
And then I realized we can talk telepathically again, I think.
Yeah. All your powers are back to normal.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I'll go back to I'll telepathically. Tag says, "Oh, was that not telepathic?"
No.
Tag looks around to see everyone in the group looking at him.
Didn't your box that you opened, didn't it let something out?
Drin. Yeah, I don't know that would have been. I mean, I don't have enough information to come clean about that. I don't even know what we would be coming clean on, because it's not like I'm hiding anything. I don't know. I mean, something is being hidden from us. I don't know. I can't hide something that's being hidden from me.
Oh, I don't think you're hiding it. I'm just like, what was that thing? Do you know?
Okay, out of game real quick. What are you referencing?
When you opened,
You opened one of the presents, and it released ultimate evil onto
Yeah.
the world.
Right.
I don't
Okay.
know. That's all I can think that it is in character.
Right.
So.
All right, come back to me again, Bryn. Ask again.
Okay. Okay, so you got coal, and then you
Right.
got something that released something, but we don't know what it is.
Ultimate evil on the world.
Oh.
Yeah, but the odds that the ultimate evil released on the world would be following us back to this little ship seem teeny tiny.
Okay, so it
Well,
probably
something
stayed on
so
Blight.
cool. I want you to kind of see it from my perspective. It feels a little cliche for Tag, the spawn of evil, to be seen bringing back a new released evil into the world, and I just didn't necessarily want to bring those associations on myself if I didn't have to. And I feel like we have a laundry list of things to deal with right now. So I was just gonna, it's on the list, but just not the top spot.
So during this entire telepathic conversation, you both now look again out to the group, who is still all just staring at Tag. And there's been a lengthy silence in which I think Bryn and Tag have just been making like eyebrows at each other. And Captain Matt Vansel says, look, besides that flare-up of energy, there hasn't been any other sign of this thing. But we do know that it didn't leave the vessel once it arrived. I've had my crew run a full diagnostics of the ship. Nothing is immediately pinging. There's a chance we have time to investigate. And by we, of course, I do mean just you.
Yeah. Captain, your scans, how do they pick up, like, just, for example, ghosts?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Ghosts have a distinct energy reading. We didn't know this until recently.
Ah, right. And so things like ghosts, but not necessarily ghosts per se, like just, again, for example, I'm kind of shooting from the hip here, unspeakable evil, conceptual. They would pick that up, right?
Yes. I think I see where you're going with this. I just want to let anybody who's worried about it know that anything as drastic as unspeakable evil's kind of obvious to everybody. And so if there is any desire to like try and hide the fact that you might be the spawn of unspeakable evil, I wouldn't waste the energy because we all kind of are there anyway. And we
All right, you heard
summoner
the everybody. No reason to hide, so whichever one of you might have felt, and I understand, might have felt embarrassed about that. It's, like the captain said, no reason for that. So
our instruments are very
We're
sensitive.
You're good.
And, we just assume that there's a lot going on in this particular party that we don't understand. So as long as the summoner is cool, we're cool.
I'm cool. I'm cool.
So
Okay.
cool.
Okay. I believe CNAC88 wants to speak to you. I'm going to have my crew come back in. If you could, while we travel, look into this mysterious energy signature, it would help me breathe easier.
Of course.
Okay.
Our pleasure.
What was that?
Our pleasure.
Oh, of course. Always polite. He hits a little thing on his wrist, and the door slides open behind you, and Nara and... Wait, I must have changed her name. Two women walk in whose names you don't need immediately, I'm pretty sure. And so they take up their positions and start doing really important space work. And so does the captain. He's kind of walking around in a dignified manner, looking over the instruments, making sure that everybody's paying attention. And CNAC88, the robot, walks up to you and says, "Hey, what's up, y'all?"
Hey, CNAC.
What's up, buddy?
Hi.
Hey, I'm going to be taking off here pretty soon. I just wanted to let you know that we successfully stole all that stuff from the Void Relay, and we're pretty sure that we're going to be able to, make a portable faster than light drive. So if we're able to do something like that, I'm sure we'll try and get one your way.
Great.
Cool.
So y'all want to be part of the rebellion?
Click, 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 click.
Hey, he goes, oh, right.
See, like, you of all people should remember that the company is constantly recording.
Oh, seriously, I had all that stuff stripped out of me. I've been rewired. It makes me kind of goofy, so, whatever.
You do seem more relaxed.
Yeah. So, y'all want to not be part of the rebellion?
Do we get a badge?
Wow. What an interesting request. I'm sure that we could make that happen.
Badges?
Okay, I'm in.
We don't need no stinking badges.
I want a badge. I
Yeah,
got a badge.
What?
Yeah, some insignia, a pin maybe. You guys do pins?
We can get you whatever you want. I just figured you were trying to keep a low profile and not let the
Where
company
did you
know.
learn your counterinsurgency tactics?
Me?
Not you. I'm turning to Tag and Bryn and saying, do they teach you nothing?
Well, I wouldn't put it in a. It's just cool to feel like you're in a club. I wouldn't wear it,
I
on
can wear
my.
it under my cloak.
Yeah, these are undergarment
Like
accoutrements.
super secret club.
Yeah.
Okay,
Underwear
yeah,
fit.
you guys want some underpants badges? We can get you that. When we send the faster than light drive, we'll send you some underpants badges.
Or a tattoo.
You're serious. All right.
But like a temporary tattoo so we can wash it off real quick if we have to.
Now let me ask you something, Rex. Where did you learn your counterinsurgency tactics? The professor, he wants to send you a message, and so there's a chance that even though this scene's happening now, after I leave, we're gonna get it beamed and we'll relay it to you. So there's a chance.
You gotta take some energy away from the board relay pipeline, put it into underwear pins for a second. So
Yes.
once you get it back up and running, the message will come through.
Underwear pin sounds horribly uncomfortable.
I know that we just only had a moment to talk before you went down to that really spooky planet, but the professor's integral to the revolution right now. We're doing everything that we can to hit the company where it hurts. That's why we're trying to get these FTL drives, because if we can start operating outside their relays, it'll really open up the possibilities for our recruitment and travel. It'll just kind of give us a whole new line of supply. He speaks of you often and fondly, and I believe he just wants to reach out because there are issues above my pay grade that he may want your help with. But other than that, that's it for me. I'm probably going to split. And
sorry to interrupt, Cena. Can you just give us a little kind of, what intel you've gathered on the company's doings right about now? We see a lot, but it's all from the inside. I don't know if you're able to pick up on something that we might not be.
Sure. Yeah. Some of this I just received while you were down on that planet. Things have changed drastically since you've been down there. Up until a little bit after we met, before you went to Black, the company was in tatters, being cut off from Void and being cut off from several different planets at a staggered rate has seriously impacted their supply lines. They were doing what they could from the little bit of monitoring that we've been able to hit on their comms to restructure and find an executive kind of cabinet to oversee things while the head of the company was locked away on Void. Now, we don't know what happened recently because after a couple of attacks, they caught on to our shenanigans and have kind of locked us out from monitoring their communications now that they're aware of us. But we have noticed that frantic energy they've been displaying has settled. It seems that they have gotten whatever foothold they were looking for and are now actively trying to lock the continuum system back down in a way that is far stricter than anything we saw before all of these attacks happened on these planets.
You mean in terms of regulations?
Yes. Some of that is to do with us, but not all of it. We seem to be a small fish to them at the moment. Whatever they're doing, we recently have heard that the Void planet has been reopened in the same way that you have all managed to free these other planets.
But we didn't go to the Void planet.
Right. And I unfortunately do not have any more details than that. This is hot off the presses. But we think that whatever has caused them or granted them confidence in these recent days has something to do with this new news.
I look to Bryn and Tag says out loud, I think I know exactly what that's about.
What?
What? Fuck, was that out loud?
Yeah, man.
It's okay. We're not used to using the communicator. It's good. It's been down for a while, so.
I have some suspicions about the company's interests on Void. I haven't had a chance to discuss it with the team yet, but we'll certainly clue you in to what we know as soon as we get our underwear badges.
Oh, you got it. Look, he just like turns half a cheek, and you can see that on his little rear end there's a little badge, and he winks.
I knew it.
You had badges all along.
I knew it.
But I'm not masquerading as a company asset, so I can kind of like wear it on my sleeve.
And so,
Look, we've done what we can to.
you chose a butt cheek?
What? What was that?
No.
All I heard
What
was
about
butt
my butt
cheek.
Nothing. That's a internet sabotage of that joke. I'm gonna just let it slide.
We've done a little work, myself and my 2 rebel companions who are completely fleshed out and have long and interesting backstories, and whose names I remember, but have returned to our ship. Now, they have helped me install a communicator on this ship, which will allow us to get a hold of you and you get a hold of us whenever you'd like. It's on a pirate frequency. It may be a little unreliable at times, but it should evade trace, assuming you are able to stop whatever monitoring devices are on this ship, which Captain Matt Vansel, he turns around and says, hey, has assured me you can do.
We have a foolproof method of stopping communication here. Really, very exact, iron tight, waterproof, you might say.
Always comes in at the exact right second, too.
Yeah.
Never a minute or two late.
Excellent. What an interesting way to describe it.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna banana split. If you need anything, you hit me on the pirate radio. Cool?
Yes, sir.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye. And he turns around and clink, 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 clink. Robot walks out of here. Okay, so I have some scenes that I have gotten as requests from you, and also that some that I would just like to do, but we can do those in any order. You are now kind of free to move about the ship. You can conduct your investigation for the mystery presence to whatever intensity you would like. As of right now, there doesn't seem to be any complications from it, so there's no pressing issues. Is there anybody who has a scene they'd like to go first? If not, I got a couple that I'm going to lay on you.
I have an offer for dispersing initially through the ship.
What's up?
If we think that there is a looming or loosed evil presence, one of the easiest ways to deal with a situation like this is to lure it out with bait. And there is nothing evil enjoys more than destroying that which is good. So if we go through the ship doing good things, telling people how nice it is to see them, visiting with people, cleaning up, leaving stuff nicer than how we found it, it's no doubt that at some point that evil presence will just not be able to resist trying to destroy the goodness, and then we can alert the others to its presence on the ship. And if it ends up not being an evil presence, man, the ship is going to look real nice.
I feel like that was in character to the group.
Yes.
Okay.
I longingly think about space bubbles, and I'm like, fine, wait. Let's go.
Oh, I mean, as long as you share with people, I think it's a wonderful gesture.
I might not be the sharpest tack in the toolbox. That's the problem.
We're only dealing with an unidentifiable manifestation of pure evil. I don't think you necessarily need to have all your wits about you right now.
Okay, cool. I grab a bottle of space bubbles and pour everybody a glass.
Okay. There isn't much of a crew, but I think there are a couple people here who are still trying to congratulate you on another victory. One of them is Saren Telf, the archivist, and she actually is from Blight. If you can remember, that's why everyone on Blight had a version of this dialect. and she raises a glass to you. The captain does not drink on duty, nor do his crew, but they do join you out there and pour themselves a little whatever that apple cider sparkly stuff is that I drink on New Year's Eve.
Martinelli's.
Martinelli's. There's also Drang J, who's a robot in charge of the hangar bay, one of the few that stayed on. There's
Drang
also
Jay in charge of the hangar bay.
Ekram 7. He's a robotic surgeon who comes and joins you from the med bay. And Tara.
What?
Before you went to Blight, you made a personnel request with the captain to invite Tara to come and join the cause. She jumped at the opportunity and has been staying on the ship since she got here. So she joins and raises a glass and says, "Hey, everybody. Nice to see you."
Hi. I
Hi.
didn't know you were going to be here. Hi.
Oh, that's so strange. The communication I received said that you specifically had requested me to join the crew.
I didn't know you were going to show up.
I couldn't imagine a more important and worthwhile place to be. Not to mention, I am officially being hunted on Bloom for some of my involvement in some of those things. And as far as the company is concerned, I am not here.
Watertight.
So I am operating under an alias.
Which is?
It's just my name backwards. It's Arat. But that's just what's on the manifest. So most of the people on Bloom are dead. So I'm cool.
That's a lot. But I'm really glad you're here.
Me too.
Should we call you Arat?
No, that would be weird. And honestly, there's too many names flying around already. We don't need to double up.
I've long felt that way about working here, but it's nice to hear someone else say it too. You look good.
Thank you. I have never been in space this long.
How long have you been here waiting for it? Not that you were waiting for us, but that you are here when we were not here, and I had requested your. How long have you been here?
I haven't been here all that long, just a few days, but I had to leave Bloom, and Captain Matt Bansel actually got a hold of me while I was in hiding using some of the channels that robot fellow is operating on. And so I'd kind of shacked up with the rebellion for just a little while, and then I've been here. But it's weird.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll get used to it.
Yeah. So I think that this conversation is kind of turning into a walk and talk. And as you're going down the hall, Tara leads you towards the armory. And she says, I'm actually really happy to see you. I've been excited to show you something. And she leads you into the armory, and it's a bit different than the last time you saw it. It's a bit better. There's a lot of the weapons that you saw on the walls there, and there's also just a bunch of stuff already in progress. It looks like it's kind of been brought to the ship. It's got a weird combination of tech. There's like stolen company shit that's being hardwired into like repurposed ship materials. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot more cluttered and a lot more full. But she says, you got to check this out. And pulls up what looks like a hatchet and says, I don't want to put it on it. I hadn't wanted to put it on anything expensive yet because I just haven't been able to figure it out. And then just throws this right over your shoulder and you hear it thock. And when you turn around, it's stuck into like a test dummy. And then it wiggles as you're looking at it and then flies right back past you. And she catches it over your shoulder and says, pretty cool, right?
And I say, that may be the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes. Yeah. Very cool. Sorry, I thought that was in my head. Very, very, very cool. You've been doing a lot of great work here that I can see in a very short amount of time. I'm very impressed.
A lot of this I brought with me. Once I got the invitation, I figured we could use it. If anything that you've been doing has been half as dangerous as it was on Bloom, I figured we could use all of the firepower we could carry.
Yeah. This is going to take everything we've got. So, yeah.
What's going on, Rex?
Wow. There is a lot to catch you up on. And we can, if we were to jump inside Rex's brain, we would just see her replaying the moment of leaving the water planet and everything just blowing up, just on an endless loop in her head over and over. But all she says to Tara is, can I tell you something?
Yeah, of course.
There've been so many times where all I've thought of is getting to see you again, and then here you actually are, and I don't know, so much in my life has changed since I last saw you. It's really good to see you.
I think that there's a lack of awkwardness. Tara just gives you a hug. And there's nothing more to it than just somebody seeing that you need a shoulder and just giving it to you willingly. There's no hurry. And so you're able to just breathe for as long as you want. She waits to hear if there's anything else you feel like talking about without pushing it. Is there anything else you want to say to her before things move forward?
Do you think you can do that same thing to another weapon?
She says, I was planning on it, Rex. And then she clears the table off and offers you a space to put Graflex there. Roll. There is an. We're gonna use. There's mechanics for this. There's fucking mechanics for this. We're gonna use the armories. Okay, so yeah, just roll plus. You're so strong. You're gonna help her by knowing this place and also being tough. And so you're gonna roll plus strength the Graflex is not a small weapon, nor is it light, and so you're going to be there to do a lot of the heavy lifting and the holding and the prying. So roll plus strength, and you get an additional +1 because Tara is going to be assisting you.
All right. Ooh, that is. So if I use my +1 from chat, that is a 7.
Okay, cool. This is what I'll give you then. On a full success, you are going to have Graflex remain as it is power-wise. So it's not going to get any more powerful. It's going to have all of the same stats, but you're going to add 1 tag to it, which is going to be retrieval. And so I don't have an idea of how this works. Because you are not a magical character. And so do you have any like instinct on how and why this would work? Is it technology? Is it magic? Is it, like what is it that allows you to retrieve the weapon?
That's a good question. I think we've established at this point that while it may be purely a physical object, it has also been transformed a few different times. And so I think it's possible that that's left it with some, like it's been smeared with some magic or something. So it is not itself magical, but it is now, because of all the times that it's been transformed, it is somehow responsive to magic. And we know that she has a very strong personal connection to it, that it's, it's her right arm. So I do think that there is maybe an element of magic to its ability to be retrieved, but maybe it has some, maybe the tech is like maybe something like a sensor that's embedded somewhere in me that responds to, my will to have it retrieved, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think that you're onto something. And so the fact that it has been transformed so many times, while you have always been the constant, is going to allow the connection to take a stronger hold than even Tara would have expected. And so even just with the memory of what you were able to do on Blight when you were casting spells, I think that Tara's, she's got like a more tech savvy version of, or I'm sorry, a more magic savvy version of what the professor kind of would do with the Arcano engineering. So where he leaned more into tech, she leans a bit more into magic, kind of in like a druidic quality. And so I think that the fact that the weapon has already been primed and you have a strong connection to it, she just needs to perform this operation on the weapon to solidify your bond. And that bond becomes the anchor for what she can make it do. And so I don't think you need tech. I think that the weapon and you have been through enough that she's able to make it do this thing. And over the course of this, while you guys are repairing the weapon and changing it and augmenting it, I think that there's just a bit of chit chat. She tiptoes around the things that she thinks you don't want to speak of, but does pry a little bit. And it is less about her being interested in the events as they unfolded and more so being interested in your perspective of them. And even if she's just getting you to speak about things in kind of a general sense, it gets chummy fast. Once you've had that moment and you guys hugged and then you started working on a weapon, which is kind of what you guys do, it was a lot easier for you to talk. And so I think that we leave that scene with Graflex being changed into this cool boomerang thing, with you and Tara catching up a little bit, and you filling her in as to why she's been called to the dark corners of space to help you fight evil monsters.
Although I still think I don't tell her yet about what happened on the water planet, or at least
sure.
I leave some important details out.
Sure. Until you say otherwise, I will just take it as specifics have been glossed over in most instances.
That works for me.
Okay. You got a new weapon.
Cool.
All right.
Better.
Anybody else got a scene calling their name? Okay. I got one of mine. Unless that was about to be somebody saying something.
I have a way that I want to investigate the ship, but since I just had a scene, I feel like it should be somebody else's turn.
Okay. Bryn, after the little toast making that you have in the hallway, you are paged over the intercom, and you are told that there is a call from the Fire Planet waiting for you on your personal communications in your quarters, the VIP suite.
Okay, I drink the rest of my drink and throw my cup away.
Okay.
And somberly head upstairs.
Okay.
Or across the hall. Are we already on the top floor?
You are outside the bridge.
So yes.
Which, yes, you're right next to where you are.
Okay. I'll approach my room. I'll make sure in the mirror that I don't look scary. Like my hair isn't all messed up. Try to like clean up as much as I can.
Okay.
And then I answer.
It is your mother. Bryn.
Yeah.
You
What?
You made it.
I did make it. Barely. But I made it. And look. They're gone.
Hey, wonderful, wonderful.
Thank God. I did pick up a new trick, though. I learned how to hypnotize people.
That sounds very dangerous, and I hope that you do not abuse it.
I'm not going to abuse it, I don't think.
Okay. So, you came up against Slakta, the insidious,
Yes.
a nightmare creature, which I've only heard about in old tomes. What happened?
Well, we were trying to figure out what was going on Blight, and Capio was taking the energy from the planet for his own nefarious purposes, and he created, I think with Slakta, like this like arena of trials that you had to pass, and so we got stuck doing that, and then we realized that Slakta was just using us to complete a ritual to bring herself back to power, which she did. And there were gingerbread men and snowmen, and it was a whole winter wonderland fright fest, and we took her down with the power of forgiveness.
Okay. Bryn, you're doing that thing again where you tell a story regularly, and then at the end, you just list a bunch of crazy stuff.
I also sort of bitter. It was a defensive move. I was in a panic. She tasted terrible. Like as bad as you would think, but worse.
Okay. Bryn, that kind of magic that you're describing is almost unheard of. I could not maintain the types of spells at the intensity that you are describing Slakta using. And I fancy myself a powerful summoner.
I know.
I would venture to say that it is probably a very good thing that you stopped Slakta from returning to power and potentially destroying this entire system. Or enslaving it, or whatever she would have done.
Who knows? She was crazy and evil, a terrible mixture. So we've got bigger problems, though.
Yeah, you're telling me. Yes.
And the old C word is one of the biggest ones.
What are you talking about?
The company.
Gotcha. Okay. That C word.
Yep. Can't remember how much I told you about my parallel and his half father. Did I talk to you about that?
A bit. It was in regards specifically to my parallel and the corruption there.
Okay.
Speaking of, there's been some news on the summoner front as well.
Oh.
And in regards to the company, I do hate this. I never thought I would say this, Bryn, but without the company's support network, things are just kind of falling apart. And not just here on Fire. It's not so much that I crave a return to the old ways, but such an abrupt departure from them has really thrown things into a tizzy around here. We're running out of basic supplies. Many of the machines that we've been powering through company means are starting to malfunction. It's not ideal. You know, I've got a lot on my plate. I've also been looking into some of the magical things that you've asked me to look at, and also they're calling a gathering of the Summoner Council. I'll be expected to attend off-world, which it really is. It is truly the worst timing.
Who's going to
but-
watch the fire planet while you're gone?
We have administrators who can handle the day-to-day, and I will be contacted for any pressing business. It's just I don't have time for this bullshit. Forgive my language.
It's okay. I kind of like it.
It's just that you see, the Bloom Summoner will need to be replaced. Langorium died, as you informed me. We've since made contact with the planet. He had no heir, and so there is now going to be several different rituals that need to be performed, a search that will need to be placed onto the planet. The list goes on and on. If we cannot find an appropriate Bloom citizen, we'll have to fill it with a retired parallel, perhaps. The mechanics of how this works is very often taken care of simply by the way that the title was passed to you. A summoner has an heir, they take the throne. It is rare that they do not when they pass.
Right.
No one's heard from... Oh, sorry. Yeah, so this council's being called with just the remaining summoners who are available, which is really just Summoner Zulamar from the Water Planet and myself.
Zulamar?
Zulamar. Name from chat.
Yep.
So here's what happens. The Lightning Summoner's unavailable because that planet's still locked down. I don't know what's happening on Void. I've heard some rumors, but I have been unable to reach the Void Summoner. The Bloom Summoner has passed, and we need to replace them.
What about Blight? I sort of left a kid named Perth in charge.
The Blight Summoner will also need to be replaced. I'm missing a parallel. It's insane, Bryn. Okay? There's too much to do. So look, I need support. I need Lightning freed. I need Void to make contact. If there's any way that you could speed up this planet freeing business, it would make my life so much easier, Bryn. I fear that these meetings will take far too long and have far too few results where we currently stand. And I do not have time for a diplomatic runaround. Okay?
Okay. I got this. We got this. You can pour yourself a cup of your Valerian tea. You can take a nice hot bath, and you can calm down. We have not failed so far. We're still alive. We've done everything we need to do. We just need to eventually replace the company with somebody that's reliable and not sadistical. Sadistical. I think I made up a word.
Yes, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. The logistics of that seemed daunting before. Where we're at right now, it makes it feel even more so. I'm not saying we shouldn't
I'll deal with the company. You focus on the summoners. I'll deal with the company. We'll go to Void. We'll go to the Lightning Planet. Just, you can feel free to divvy some of the responsibility to me. I'm going to have to know how to do this anyway.
Okay, thank you. I may send you instructions. The summoner meeting is on Silva Celesso, the parallel homeworld and training grounds.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yes. There was a time in the past in which we would have had a host summoner. That time is not great right now because of how bad things are. And so we're going to neutral ground on a place where this freak occurrence has not seemed to have taken hold. And so because Silva Celesso is still available, we are going to meet there.
Okay. I do want to bring something up. My parallel tag has been working super hard, and he's been going through a really, really tough time with some family stuff.
Mhm.
And I would like to do something to help him out, or to show him how thankful I am, how loyal he's been, and how brave he is. But I don't know what to do for a parallel. He said he's never had a home or property of his own, and I know that we could give him a place on Fire Planet, but I don't know if he would actually accept that. Do you have any advice? What did you do for your parallel?
Over the years, Varik was bestowed many titles and given additional responsibilities. These are things that you will be able to entrust Tag with when you assume the role here as summoner on the Fire Planet. It is involvement in special council. It is the ability to create and lead different. It's all so. It sounds very dull. It's a lot of bureaucratic nonsense, but there is a sense of place, a sense of purpose. It's a promotion in a sense. For you, I would say offer land and title on Fire. We have several estates that he could take and know that he would have a home here on the Fire Planet. They are in the palace grounds. He would not be far from you, but he would have enough of a remove to feel like he has a place of his own. That would be given wholeheartedly and signed to him, so there would be no strings attached on that end if you think it would help. It could be from the both of us if you think that him not wanting to be rude to me would help. But I don't know, Bryn. I feel like what you... I don't know that I have the perfect answer for you, unfortunately.
It's okay. I'll think on it. I'll come up with something.
Towards the end, Varik was in charge of, and perhaps it was partly why he faced a downfall, but he had just gotten interested in arcane artifacts and was researching them, and he was starting up a kind of school, informal in a sense, more of a grad program for any in the continuum that wanted to come and learn. There are things you can do once you are no longer gallivanting across the universe, and there are things to look forward to. So perhaps start with a place and ask Tag.
Okay. Actually, talking, I kind of have an idea that might be really silly, but just talking helped me think of something. So, okay, thank you. We'll just get through this one task at a time. So, we'll go to Void and figure out what's going on that planet and find the summoner. What's Void's summoner's name?
It will probably be named by chat.
Okay. Summoner to be named. Yeah, we'll just do that.
Sounds good. Bryn, I don't have a specific warning for you. There's been no news from Void. We've heard that the barrier has dropped, but I would expect there to be celebration, bragging at the very least. There has been no news from Void. There is a communications embargo on Void. It is different than being locked out by the barrier. It is being facilitated by the company. It is their home planet, and their influence is supreme there. The summoner, more so than on any other world, answers directly to the head of the company. And so I would just caution you to tread lightly. I do not think you will be diving into a jungle full of monsters or a swamp full of ghouls, but I do think that you will be facing the company in a far more official capacity, and I would just caution you.
So don't wear like a Rebel Alliance patch on my arm.
Yeah. If
Okay.
anything, wear an underwear badge just so you could hide it beneath your robes.
Is that even a thing? All right. Okay, we'll be careful, and I guess. Well, I can't really contact you while I'm on Void, but hopefully I'll just, the next time I talk to you, it will be with good news.
Okay. I will most likely be on Silva Celesso, but you will be able to reach me through the usual channels.
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay. Bren, I'm very proud of you. I know that's... I'm going to keep saying it because you're doing a lot of good work. And I just appreciate what you're doing. It's great to see my daughter out there being impressive. It is a lifesaver to have a competent summoner out there assisting me with the day-to-day because I just need the help from an equal, and you are delivering.
Bryn doesn't know what to do with this information. She's very excited by it, but she doesn't want to show it. Thanks.
Okay. When your mother gets up, before she clicks off, you can see that, like most of us these days, she's not wearing pants for this video call. And right the split second before the video cuts out, you just see a little Rebel underwear badge. And then the comm cuts out.
What? Oh my gosh. And while I'm pondering that, I grab a pair of just like utility khaki pants that are in the drawer that's in my room, and I'm gonna head and go visit Claire, but I don't need a scene for that.
Sure. When you open the drawer, there's a little elf in there, just
God,
looking at you.
I forgot about that.
And you leave to go see Claire, Captain Matt Vansel's daughter. Okay. Tag, is this a time where you might like to have your scene with Sam?
Yeah, let me have another, just I think pretty little scene first, because I really like Casey's offer, and I've been thinking about what Tag would do with it, and I think that there's a couple things happening. He's got that idea as an excuse in his head, and so he's kind of wandering the halls of the ship. But it's one of those tricky situations, kind of the good place paradox, where, you know, if you are doing good with the explicit purpose of getting something in return, are you in fact doing good? So I think he's mulling over that. And I also think he's a little hesitant to approach the people on this ship. It's an interesting dynamic when you think about it, because the four of us are off planet so often, and we have, in a sense, this leadership role here, but we aren't here for the bonding, for the day in, day out work that everyone's doing. And I really don't know how we're perceived. We are putting these people in a lot of danger and probably asking for a lot of sacrifices. And I don't think that Tag has thought about that before this moment, the kinds of things that this mission has required of the crew in terms of not being able to see their family, not being able to go home safely and easily. And so he's just kind of like peeking his head. He peeks his head into the kitchen, peeks his head into the different sort of server side, hangar deck parts of the ship. And I think that if he peeks his head in the, maybe like a laundry room or something, I want him to run into, just have a little scene with a kid, like maybe like a 15-year-old kid working on this ship.
Yeah, so I think that almost everybody left, but did we establish if the crew, if Puck's crew stayed?
They did.
Okay. So who on the Puck's crew would be like a 15-year-old kid?
Oh, probably Big Mike.
Okay. So you peek into a laundry room and Big Mike is in there and he's got a duffel bag or like a laundry sack full of crew uniforms, and it seems like he just happened to be on the lottery to do everybody's laundry this week, and so he's just kind of like typical laundromat. There's like 8 spinning washing machines. He's just sitting there kind of reading a magazine with a big old bag of laundry next to him.
I think Tag looks in, and even here he's like, all right, this is going to be the one I talk to. You know, it's a 15-year-old kid. I'm not going to be intimidated to talk to a child. But something happens and he just can't quite get up the guts to start a conversation. So he kind of tries to turn and sneak back out the way he came, and he trips over the door jamb and sort of stumbles and knocks and falls a little bit on his way out and turns around, and the kid is just looking right up at him. Yeah. Hey, sorry.
Hey. Yeah. Can I help you?
No, I was just wandering, I guess, just kind of bored.
Oh, sir, can I help you, sir? And he hops up and like doesn't know if he should. You could see it's plain that he doesn't want to be messing up, but he also is pretty sure he doesn't need to salute. So there's like a little hesitancy.
Right. I think Tag also doesn't totally know, like Tag salutes back. He doesn't quite know protocol.
Oh, do you need one of these machines? I could clear out some of the stuff.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt. I guess I was just looking for kind of a quieter place. You're in Puck's crew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Tag.
Nice to meet you. I'm Big Mike.
Hey, Big Mike. Nice to meet you. Can I just hang here a little bit? Kind of get out of the way of everything?
Yeah, sure, man.
Okay.
And he gestures. There's kind of like a line of chairs with their backs to the wall that are looking at the machines, and he says, I actually like doing the laundry because I could just sit here, and the white noise of the machines kind of tumbling helps me think. So if you're looking for a place to kind of
that'd be nice. Tag sits. It's silent for a little while. It's not an awkward silence. I think that they both respect and understand what the other is looking to get out of this place. And Tag says, where are you from?
I'm from Lightning.
Oh, cool. I've never been to Lightning before.
It's pretty good. I've been to some of these other planets, and they're all, they all got what they got going for them. But Lightning's pretty good. I miss it sometimes because it's a nice temperature.
Sure. How did you end up here, if you don't mind my asking?
No, the company's got a pretty heavy presence on Lightning, and I don't know. Just wanted to see the world, I guess. See more of it. See more worlds. I just didn't feel like sticking around and working in the factories. There isn't many opportunities, and so this seemed like one that would be fun.
Yeah. Has it been?
Sometimes, yeah. I didn't expect it to be so scary. Sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah, I hear you there. I don't know what you know about me, but I kind of just kind of got signed up into the position through circumstance, and most of the time when I was younger, I was doing kind of what you're doing. I was doing laundry, I was cooking, and I was pretty happy with that. I kind of thought that was going to be where I was of service and where I contributed. And one thing leads to another, and Now I'm here hopping planets on a ship with you fine folks.
I don't mind it. I don't think I want to do what you're doing, but it doesn't mean that I don't want to be helping, you know? So sometimes I think just maybe if I'm the guy doing the laundry or I'm the guy cooking, you know, Puck's showing us all how to cook. So I feel like then you don't have to worry about it, and then you can focus on what's important, and then I don't have to go out and do what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you. I don't necessarily want to be going out and doing what we're doing either. I guess I just kind of thought that I'd have more time to do that. You know, I thought adventure kind of knocked on my door, and yeah, I didn't really get much of a heads up. It kind of just happened. And I think at one point the laundry machine dings, the dryer dings, and instinctively Tag just goes over and opens it up, and he stuff and just start taking either end, folding them together. Yeah, and I look back on it now, and I don't know if there's anything I could have done different. You know, I don't know if I could have said no. I could have just kept baking bread and kept doing laundry, or if it's one of those things where that's what was going to happen, and if I somehow managed to duck out of it at that point, it would just come around to me later. I don't know. Sorry, I'm talking your ear off. And at that point, I think that they've kind of mostly finished doing the laundry. It's all folded. Tag sort of is trying to get a read on whether this kid has to go somewhere. Like, is Tag now just holding this kid hostage here?
Yeah, you luckily get a pretty chill vibe. Yeah, I think that there's a connection here. I think that you've got the potential for a friendship if you want it, and so the kid recognizes it. Big Mike recognizes it, and he says, "Sometimes I think, you know, my life isn't as crazy as yours is, but it is a bit crazier than I'm used to, and I too feel like I just kind of fell into it, and so I think maybe this will go for a while, and we won't know what's going to happen, but then one day." We'll just fall out of it, and it'll be back to baking bread and doing the dishes.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, Mike, I think I'm probably just gonna keep hanging here for a little bit.
Cool.
But it's very nice to meet you.
You too.
Well, if you see, don't be a stranger.
Sure, you too, man. And yeah.
Cool.
I think that the camera leaves the room as the washing machines and the dryers continue to tumble, and there's a comfortable silence in there as Tag has a moment to collect his thoughts. Did you want to move on and cut forward in time and approach Sam?
Yeah, is that the only thing we kind of got left on the docket here? I do want to have a scene with Sam. I'd also, while I'm here, let's take this opportunity while Tag's in the laundry room to make a little investigation roll.
Sure.
I don't think he planned to come here to try to, make space
Search
to
for
find
unspeakable evil.
Oh yeah, but he's here, and I think that sort of as the white noise of the laundry machines kicks up, and as he just sort of long-term adrenaline dumps from everything that happened on Blight, I think he sort of opens himself up to some phase state influences, and kind of almost like when you're in a hot tub for a while or in a hot bath, and you just kind of slide down. He just sort of slides down into the phase state without necessarily meaning to. And I'm going to see if he picks up anything there.
Cool. Just roll a good old-fashioned magic roll for me, please.
Magic roll. Ha! Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a total of 4 on the magic roll.
Has What?
I'm gonna mark that XP.
Yeah, please do. So you don't just relax and slide into the phase state and stop there. As you continue to slide down farther and farther into this second world, you realize that you're no longer just sliding, you're kind of being pulled, and you're picking up speed. And you actually start to feel your ability to leave the phase state leave you as your powers kind of start to drain out of you. You get a very familiar sensation. You felt it several times on Blight as you were deprived of energy or sapped of strength. And you do feel as though you are being pulled in the direction of the back of the ship. Down and back is kind of what you get. But then Big Mike says something and you instinctively just say, what? And you've snapped back to reality. And he just says, I just got to go do my rounds and deliver this laundry, man, but it was nice talking to you. And he leaves the room. And you're left with this feeling, and you do feel as though something was affecting your power.
Okay. Tag clicks on the old two-way real quick. Hey, Bryn.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, stop doing what I'm doing so you can't hear anything. Yeah?
You all right? Sorry, did I interrupt? I need to find a way to like knock or like have these things ring so that you can pick up. Sorry. Hey.
Oh no, it's totally fine. What's up?
Yeah, so I just got this weird sense, something kind of pulling me sort of where the brig is, where the weapon systems are, down in the back of the ship. I don't know if maybe you felt anything too.
And I look down at what I'm working on and I'm like, shoot, I wasn't even paying attention. Hold on one sec. And then I like reach out with my magic to see if I can sense anything.
You have a similar experience to the one that Tag just had. In that you do feel a little drain on your powers. While he had let his guard down and slid, almost completely giving way to this, you feel instead like someone's just put a small hole in the bottom of a bucket of water, and there's just a dribble as though something is kind of feeding almost in a camouflaged way on your energy. You're not quite sure where it's coming from. You could make an attempt to find out, but you can just feel it now that you're looking, that something's kind of
something's off.
Sapping. Yeah.
Okay. Now that you mention it, something does feel a little weird. I guess maybe I was just wondering if I was thinking it because I know there's something on board, but now that you mention it, it definitely something feels like it's imprinted a little bit on my magic, like a blind spot.
I don't know. We don't know that something's on board. A present was opened, a thing got out, but.
Well, Matt Mansell said that something happened. We don't know where it went, right?
I guess I was being a little defensive there.
I'm not blaming you. It wasn't your fault. It was a gift. It was a horrible jokester of a gift.
Yeah, well, it wasn't as bad as the rings around my eyes. That was really just.
Those were pretty funny.
No, I looked like a raccoon. It was embarrassing.
You look like an adorable trash panda.
Okay, that's cool. That's not bad. I would do that as like a Halloween costume. All right. Do you want to
go investigate?
Yeah. Do you want
to meet up?
Grab Sam. I'll grab Rex.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. Cool.
And I finish quickly what I'm working on, and I get up and I put it in my pocket and I leave.
Okay. Rex, you are paged, and there is you are told that there is a call waiting from you.
Can I
Yes.
can I go there in person? I kind of want to. I would like to see Rex and Tara together just momentarily.
Sure. Yeah. This was a different page, so you can definitely come in
okay.
here before this happens, because she's about to leave Tara. So, they are in the armory wrapping up Graflex when Tag walks into the room.
Hey, Tara. Tag.
Hey. Yeah, I remember. Well.
From Blue Planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, with all the bugs.
Great to see you.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. What do you guys? What's up? Rex?
Tara gestures to Rex, and who is holding Graflex, and says, "Hey, show him."
And Tag just flinches immediately. As,
And I fling it and expertly just whiz it right by his ear and fuck it into the wall behind him.
Okay. Since it's not a bladed weapon, it just like punches through the wall. And there's like an alarm
let's get
that goes
underground
off.
camera for the scene if we can.
Yeah.
Or
What?
at least let's get Rex in camera as well if we can.
There's just an alarm that goes off.
Physical comedy here. Sorry, I'm doing that thing where my video is just like a second behind, so I feel like I'm interrupting what everyone is saying.
The Graflex punches into the wall, makes a little hole, and there's actually a little alarm that goes off. And
I didn't know it would do that. Oops.
the door seals, and Matt Vansel gets on and says, "Good God! I just got report that there was a whole breach in the armory."
A hole breach sounds a little overblown. It's a tiny little hole.
Okay. Is everything under control?
Oh yeah, I was just showing off what my weapon does, and then I call it back, and then I summon it back.
Oh, that is cool. I am so grateful we are on the same side. I think that Tag like almost forgot how big Rex was in all their time together on the Blight Planet. She's like really unmistakably just a fucking brute. So you kind of enjoyed the shield boomerang.
Yeah.
That's cool. Tara, that's a collaborative effort there?
A bit, yeah. I helped. I developed something, but the connection Rex has to the weapon actually made it very easy to. I learned a lot more. I think I'll be able to expedite the process in the future based on what I know about Rex's connection to this weapon.
Oh, cool. That's rad. That sounds scientific and magical and over my head. I don't mean to interrupt. We're gonna do some like Team Void Jumper sleuth and shit down at the back of the ship. If you want to tag along, Tara, you're obviously welcome as well. I don't know if you want to, or if you want each other to both. If you guys will both, if you want to come, both you could come to get you. You could both come. You could come together.
And I
could-
cut Tag off and I say, "Listen, I'm the only one who's allowed to be that awkward around Tara." And I turn to her and I say, "You're welcome to come with us if you like. I think we're looking for unspeakable evil, but you're also
She's-
welcome to stay."
Tara, fuck! I'm so sorry. Tara was just in my. Sorry, Tara. Duh, like the I should know. Maid of Icar, practically. Tara. Okay. Fuck. Sorry.
She's wiping her hands on a rag and puts a hand on your shoulder, Rex, and gives it an affectionate squeeze and says, I have some stuff that I need to take care of, but if you need my help, just hit me on the comms and I would be more than happy to lend a hand."
And almost imperceptibly, I pat her hand on my shoulder.
Okay.
Hit me on the comm sounds
Nice.
definitely dirty.
She leaves, and before the two of you can, there is a chirp, and you hear on the comms, If you're done punching holes in my ship, Rex, there is a call waiting for you from Miss Kale.
Oh.
Great.
Tag just like puts his hands back on the wall, just like flattens himself, slowly swings down.
I can. He hears this like racket as you very noisily like are sliding into workbenches full of stuff and like moving tools. I can put it through in the armory if you prefer. I could also put it through to your quarters.
I'll take it in my quarters. Thank you.
So Rex leaves
Rex,
to go.
Thank you.
Rex goes to take this call from Miss Kale. Is there any other business you'd like to do within the party before we take the call from Kale? I assume afterwards we'll be heading down to do some sleuthing. Tig, is the scene you have in mind with Sam like a post-sleuthing situation?
Yeah, it could be. In fact, it's even something that we could stick onto, presuming that we're starting next time on Haven before we jump to wherever we jump. It's something that, in fact, would be well suited to go there as well.
Okay. Sam, we haven't heard from you. What do you want to be doing on this ship?
Okay, so we've all toasted with champagne, and there was this awkward moment between Tag and Bryn, and then presented the idea of, oh, we'll like do good on the ship and attract this evil force. And so we all kind of like walk off on the bridge together, and then very quickly Sam recognizes as Tara and Rex go off together, and sort of like very much understands that that's going to be like a thing, and watches as Bryn goes into her quarters to take the call with her mother, and then kind of is like, oh, just thinking to himself like, oh yeah, it's going to be like a nice light tracking party, that makes sense, and then sort of sees Tag sort of like and then like duck into this. He just sees him like in tag world. He gets in that place where he's like definitely got something in his mind, and he's like, okay, and sees him go down to the laundry room. So
no, I was trying to do good. I was trying to flow with your idea.
Yeah, everybody's off doing their thing. So Sam's like, okay, great, and he takes out his like electronic magnifying glass, kind of like an old school magnifying glass type thing, just to kind of get in the spirit of sleuthing. And he's like going around the ship, and then he'll he doesn't really discover anything particularly out of the ordinary, but he'll be like, oh, this air filter needs cleaning, and he'll like run the process of like cleaning out the air filter and then making sure to log it so whoever was scheduled to actually do it doesn't go out of their way to do it. It's like already logged that it's been done. And then
I think that when you're cleaning out the air filter, it's pretty gunked up. So you think, well, I've just done somebody a favor, and then you go to log it, and you can see that the air filter had actually just been cleaned out 2 days prior. And when you examine, roll investigate a mystery.
I think with Sam's bonus, that's a 10.
Wow, that's 3 questions.
Is the what are the substances that are in this air filter?
I'm gonna tell you before I do. Do you have a special? You're a gumshoe. I'm just gonna double check to see if you've got a special move that would help right here.
Yeah, I think I've got occult something where I get
Yeah, you're gonna get a bonus question here, or a more specific. Like if you want to dive in and get more information, you could use that here. Okay, yeah. So it actually, it had kind of an astringent smell. You took it to be the cleaning materials that you were using, but as you take a second look at this, it actually seems to be some kind of acid that is slowly disintegrating the rag that you were using to wipe the housing of the filter. And the filter itself seems to have been, it looks like a wet tissue, it's starting to lose its form. Whatever it was filtering has started to affect its stability.
Okay, I'm going to examine within the air duct. Can I determine whether or not this residue is the result of something traveling through the inside of the air duct and leaving a residue, or is it something that was filtered uh, from the hull or the inside of the ship?
As you stick your head into this air vent, kind of tag style, you can see that there is a collection of a heavy mist that's kind of curling up and around a drop off in the vent, as though this filter is part of a much larger system that is pulling air through the entire ship and circulating it. And whatever this mist is, it's coming from below decks.
Oh, can I?
You're welcome to hold your, like, if you want to keep following these clues, you're welcome to hold your 2 other questions. And as you are presented with more stuff, use them then. You're also welcome to keep investigating. I just want you to know you got like some wiggle room.
Yeah. I'm going to. I guess if it seems like the origin is below deck or in the lower decks, I should travel down. I'm going to pull up a schematic of the air duct and just go ahead and travel down. Once I locate the next air duct conduit or whatever on the lower deck, I'll just go down to the next one and pull out the air filter again and take a look.
You actually head down to the docking bay. Drang J, the robot docking bay guy, is down there. He's just working on the void jumper, make sure it's in tip-top shape. And he just kind of gives you a wave and lets you walk. You guys got, immunity on the ship to do just about whatever you want. And you find it, you find the air filter using your schematic, and when you pop it open, you can see that it's actually worse off than the one upstairs. Whatever this thing was filtering is in a much more concentrated state. The air filter has actually been eaten away, so it is just the wire casing. And the seal around the housing that you had taken so much time to scrub up above, that rubber has it's just been liquefied. Whatever this stuff is filtering. And when you pop off, there is actually a wisp of mist that comes out. And you get this feeling in the back of your head as Puck, who is much more readily available to you, kind of gives you a, ooh, don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, that seems bad. I pull up on the nearest panel the status of the O2 systems on the ship to make sure that they're all still online and those haven't been affected by whatever this thing is in the air ducts, at least so far.
The readings are strange because for the most part, the ship is fine. You see that there is warnings built in that are telling you, like, the air filter until recently had been corrupted and is quickly starting to clog again, even though you just cleaned it, and that the air filter right here is no longer functioning. But everything else in the ship seems to be okay. It's just whatever this through line is, wherever this vent is pulling from, is that straight line is starting to get affected. And there you can see that the vent integrity itself is starting to be compromised. The joints are giving way where the sensors are. And whatever this thing is trying to filter is actually actively eating it. And it's about that time that you do get a little chirp from the panel you're working at. And Captain Matt Vansel's face pops up on it. And he says, hey, I see that you're going through the logs here. We just got an alert on the bridge. There's something wrong with the O2 system.
Yeah, that's gonna make sense. Going through some of these air filters, discovered there's a substantial amount of exogenic corrosion that has been building up, and the lower I get, the more intense it gets. I wouldn't be surprised if that foreign entity that you had located might be in the air ducts or maybe in the O2 system itself. Do you guys have can I pull up a pinpoint of where this is ultimately pulling from? To maybe I seem to be getting closer, or would I have to get into the vent itself?
I got you on. You're in the docking bay, yeah?
Yeah.
The only thing that panel would have access to besides the docking bay itself would be the cargo hold.
Okay.
You're kind of at the back of the line there. Everything's going to get pulled up from the back of the ship, move forward, and then the actual heavy filters, the air scrubbers that are doing more than just filtering through these little panels that you're using, those are actually in the server room as part of the coolant system. It all functions on the same there. So whatever you're seeing is coming from the back of the ship.
All right. Why don't we stay on comms? I'm going to head back there, see what I can see.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep going down the line, and see if I can't find the origin of this naughtiness.
Sure. The docking bay is quite cavernous, but there's not much business in it. There are 3 shuttlecraft and the Void Jumper in the center. But other than that, it's kind of empty, and Drang J is the only attendant in the area now. So you get to the docking bay without having much else to look at. It's obvious that whatever you're searching for is not here in the docking bay. The door to the cargo hold is 2 parts. There is one very large door, which is sealed, that could be used to have a forklift drive through. Sure. And then off to the side, there is a personnel entrance.
Great. I'm going to flip on whatever the vid monitor is to look at the chamber in between first of the human passageway, just to make sure that it's vacant.
Sure. It is vacant as far as you can tell, and you can't tell much because it is completely black. At first, you think that it is the screen malfunctioning, but then you can see some kind of movement of light in there, and you can tell that the power might be off on the other side of the door, and so the view screen's not giving you any good info.
All right, what about in the cargo portion of it, where I've given a forklift?
It's the same, except in the larger space, you can see that there is more of that movement. It's kind of like a dappling of light that happens in some of the corners. All of the electricity seems to be off back there, but there is some like ambient light coming from. That in the back there is a cargo hold, and then there are also weapons systems, which are kind of like their own server banks. And then in the very back, there's the brig, which is where you had Shavana,
right.
And so-and-sos. So you can see that in these different areas, it's almost like some of the servers are still on, and maybe just the lights have been turned down.
All right, I'm gonna I'd like to contact the bridge. Somebody with like a master control. I don't know if I need to go right through Vansel or get somebody at comms or something like that.
Captain Matt Vansel would punch you through to Eldred Vest, the communications officer who is also running the tech aspect of the ship.
Hey, Eldred. It's I'm down here in the cargo hold, and I'm trying to see, could you check and see if the video feed is live right now or if it's down for the space between?
It's reading live. Let me pull it up and take a look.
Okay.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah.
I can't see anything. I think it's reading as live, so maybe there's something covering the camera, or maybe the lights are off?
Yeah. So I think whatever is causing the corrosion in the air filter, the foreign entity, I believe it's held in between these 2 spaces right now. It might be some sort of gaseous form, or it could be some sort of creature that prefers darkness and has reduced the lights. But I'm almost certain that this is going to be the location of that being. I'm going to go ahead and track down the rest of the jumpers and get them down here, and we'll see if we can't take care of this before there's a problem with the O2 system.
It seems like if you can just take a peek, Sam, it seems like it's affecting the filters in a way that if we lose too many of them, we don't have that many spare parts. We can pull them out of the shuttlecraft, but it's going to limit what we're able to do as far as getting off the ship. So if you could at least take a peek and see if there's anything pressing, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely do that. I'm just hesitant to open this without a few extra hands, just in case it becomes a bigger problem by opening these doors. It could have come aboard, and maybe these doors are the only thing that's keeping it at bay right now.
Sure. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and flag down Rex and Bryn and Tag, and just like, hey guys, we've got I just apprise them of the situation with the O2 filters, and trailing it down to the cargo bay, and if they meet me at their earliest convenience, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, everybody gets an open comm from Sam.
We're on our way, Sam. We're thinking the same thing. There's something going on back there.
Okay. So, on the cusp of the crew assembling outside the cargo hold to see what might be affecting the air filters, and Rex sitting down to take a call from Miss Kale, we're going to take a 2-minute break.
Oh! I'm going to go get more salted water.
Maybe I'll pick up this mangled robot. I'm like, you're coming with me.
Oh my! What an interesting choice! Naylan is my first name. Junge is my last name.
Okay. Mr. Gunge.
Junge. It's a
Mr.
soft G. He looks at the summoner over your shoulder, and this robotic smile fluctuates and goes, I'm not sure its capabilities will be able to immediately fix all of the ailments of your party. I realized that me taking the form of someone close to you would put you at ease.
Well, that didn't work. I feel much more ill at ease.
Oh, well. Whoops.
And it's
Okay.
just,
Sorry. Yes. Puckness, saffron risotto. Yes, sir.
and one of the details was just the absolute certainty he had about it not being diced and it not being minced, but finely chopped, like for the onion that goes into it. And just for some reason, Sam's like, "Oh yeah, of course that makes sense. It's just a particular, finely chopped." Anyway,
Every single one of your guys' characters is obsessed with food.
Yes.
I feel like Sam would watch the Godfather series as a cooking guide. Like that's
I mean, whose dream is it not?
like
Bacon,
there's
cannoli,
garlic oil.
The Godfather cookbook is delicious. They have something called Sunday gravy, which is the best bolognese I think I've ever had.
Wait, the Godfather cookbook is a thing?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's
I
good.
have just been thinking about how, as quarantine moves along, I get cravings for different parts of normal society and civilization. And this week it's been like red and white checkered tablecloth, bottle of wine on the table, spaghetti all around kind of experience.
Yummy.
Anyway, okay, we'll jump back in. We actually find Rex sitting down at her desk in her quarters, which is on the main deck of the ship. And tell us, Rex, how you prepare yourself for this call.
Well, if Rex was into drugs, she'd probably be doing them. Unfortunately, she is pretty Spartan in that sense as well. So I think it's just a lot of and then checking her teeth in the mirror, make sure she doesn't have any food stuck in them.
So that chill, you have a call from Mrs. Kale. Oh yeah, cool. That was just for Tara's benefit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I was like, man, you're not worried at all. Cool. Okay, we're going to start this by using one of your moves. It is called Deal with the Company. You are going to roll. Where did I put it? Oh, I don't want to scroll to that page yet. Okay, so you are going to roll plus, and you get to choose your stat, is the way that I wrote it. It says, when you deal with a company requesting help or gear or making excuses for failure, roll plus any stat of your choice. It must fit within the bounds of the narrative. So what stat would you like to use and why?
I think lore, because although I have tried to gird myself up for this moment, I think what is going to be most helpful is my knowledge of the inner workings of the company and what gets prioritized and what doesn't.
Okay. You are going to roll this to determine kind of how much you might be on the hook for with Kale. And I will limit myself and only ask as much as your roll determines. You will have to have a conversation with her, though. Before we roll this, do you remember exactly what you told her last time? It was discussion of Water Planet. She asked you kind of like what happened. I'm not asking to quiz you. I'm kind of like just making sure I remember correctly. You kind of got off the hook. I remember her saying like, we're going to review,
And I feel like I had to tell her something, but I don't remember what it was that I had to tell her. Like as a consequence of how things went with Half Dad. But maybe I'm remembering two different things.
Yeah, you had to give her something. And
I had to give her something, but I don't remember what the something was.
Okay. Well, let's find out. Because I don't remember exactly. I don't think it was the brainworms. I feel like it was you crossing over to a different place.
Yes.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Okay. All right, roll it.
Oh, God. Yikes. That I'm just gonna mark some experience there. Unless do I have any other +1s left?
Don't ask me.
Mark?
You unfortunately not. You, in fact, not to rub it in, but are the only one who has used their +1.
We got one from Wags. Did you already use it?
Yeah.
I use that to make Graphics work.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry.
The wording of this is straight from the book. I'm just going to give you the wording, and then we'll find out how it affects you. It says, you screwed up. You might be suspended or under investigation or just in the doghouse. You certainly aren't going to get any help until you sort it all out. Okay, so you sit there in your room with the glow of your screen, and you see that there is a light blinking telling you that Miss Kale is on hold, which is something that she, in your
She hates
experience...
being on hold. Beep. Hello, so sorry to keep you waiting. I did not realize that you were holding for me.
Of course. The first thing you notice behind her, you've seen her talk to you in transit. She's been in a ship almost every time that you've spoken, and behind her there's always been space. You have a very different view this time. She is sitting in an office building in what must be a high-rise, because behind her you see the very familiar skyline of Void.
Wow. I heard whispers that things had changed on Void, but I didn't expect to see you there. That's incredible. Congratulations. What a wonderful development for us all.
Yes, indeed. We are in the midst of a transition, as you can imagine, but things are starting to settle down.
May I ask, how were you able to break through the barrier? We've barely managed it on these different planets that we've been on.
We've reviewed the footage from Lost Shore research facility on the water planet Rex. I'd like to give you a chance to amend your statement regarding Air Dobbins and Shavanah.
In regards to...
Well, would it be possible for me to speak to either of them? Maybe I could get their side of the story.
No, I told you the facility was lost. And them along with it.
Yes. Most of the security footage was corrupted, it seems. What was beamed to us had been altered from a place inside the facility. But we did have some contact with your ship Haven and the shuttlecrafts shuttling you to and from the planet. It seems that Air Dobbins was rescued from the facility.
Yes.
He left on the shuttlecraft and returned to Haven.
Yes.
May I speak with him?
I don't think that would be wise.
Why is that?
Because it became clear as he was on the ship that he was dangerous and needed to be terminated.
Many of our assets could be considered dangerous, Rex. If we terminated all of them, we wouldn't have very many assets left. I would consider you dangerous.
Thank you. I would also consider you dangerous.
Thank you. Are you also implying that I should be terminated?
Of course not. Are you implying that I should be terminated? We can play this game forever.
I'm giving you an opportunity to amend your statement regarding Air Dobbins and Shavanah and the Lost Shore research facility on the water planet.
given these circumstances, I felt it was necessary that Air Dobbins be terminated. And given the expedient nature of our mission and the concerns of the continuum, he was irrelevant in the grand scheme of things.
The concerns of the continuum are secondary to the concerns of the company. You understand this?
Of course. And I fully agree with that. What I meant was that without a functioning continuum, there is no functioning company.
Well,
I'm sure you can agree with that just as much as I can.
termination is usually unfortunate without a debriefing. Even the most dangerous assets have use, if confined. Information, of which Air Dominance was privy to much. I've had time, now that we've returned to the Void Planet, to review the files and the research being conducted on that world. It would be extremely helpful in our current endeavors to be able to review any of his findings. As the head of that facility, he would have access to that information, if only in his own brain. But with the facility missing, the security files corrupted, and the head researcher terminated, it seems that a lot of time and a lot of energy has gone to waste.
And I understand how this may sound very empty and hollow, but I can assure you that even more time and energy and money would have gone to waste had he continued with his efforts.
With an emphasis on salvaging what may be a lost endeavor, when you say Air Dobbins was dangerous, was he dangerous in a way that would be useful to us?
I suppose that depends on who you ask, seeing as how there are many in the company who would find a use for anything dangerous. But I do believe that he would have been ultimately dangerous to the company, that there would have been no reining him in, so to speak. And that kind of unchecked power, the kind of unchecked power that he was building in his facility. Frankly, this sounds like hyperbole, but it is not. It could have destroyed the existence of our universe.
You imply that he had gone rogue.
It certainly seemed that way to me.
And your solution when dealing with a company asset who had gone rogue was to terminate them.
I get where I think maybe this is going, and if I may, I would like to try and use the Ring of Cassandra to see what's going to happen in like the next minute or so.
Okay. It's going to be based on your trust your gut. So I'm going to have you roll plus magic.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Do we have anything for fives, like jazz hands?
Whatever you want. If you got to roll it and live with it, you better name it. Okay, on a fail.
I've racked up 3 experiences in this one game.
The way that trust your gut works is that your instincts lead you into danger when you have failed. And so you, while calling on this ring, ask it to open up a little bit of a peephole into the future. And what you see is like a Kafka-esque machine of bureaucracy chugging forward. All of the proper forms, all signed correctly, all initialed and handed to the correct person. And it's a chain that is unending and very, very, very precise. And you get the impression that the only thing that the company respects is somebody who goes all in. And so when Kale says, you are suggesting then that the proper way to deal with a rogue asset is to terminate them.
I could see how that could be implied, but of course that is not what I meant. And I do apologize if I have stepped outside the bounds. It is something that I should have brought to your attention, and I did not. And that was a failing on my part. And I do apologize.
And Shavana, she was lost in the explosion.
Yes.
The two of you did not get along well. You were delivering her as a prisoner. So could she. You were delivering her as a prisoner.
Yes.
I assume that went well, and she was just there when everything happened.
We were not able to recover anyone else from the facility.
Okay. Rex, things are moving quickly on Void. We're calling all of our assets home. We'd like you to join us for a more formal debriefing. We feel that you possess knowledge which we would find very useful for our current endeavors here, planetside. And we would like to speak with you and your team.
And what of our work freeing these planets?
I believe that soon it will be unnecessary.
Of course. We do have to attend. I received an alert that there is a very serious matter to attend to on our ship. I don't know how long that will take, but apparently there is a severe problem with our oxygen sensors. So we will need to take care of that before we can travel anywhere.
Of course.
And there may be, if you are expecting to debrief the entire team, that may involve a little bit of political maneuvering, given that one of our members is the daughter of, frankly, now probably the Continuum's most powerful summoner.
The summoners are all being called to Silva Celesso for a council meeting. They will be quite busy. I imagine she won't have much time to oversee these petty, day-to-day bureaucratic issues. I expect you to arrange a meeting with each of your team.
I'm sorry, arrange a meeting as in bring them with me?
Yes, we will expect to speak with each of them individually and obtain any and all knowledge they have about the current crisis in the system, or by whatever means necessary.
By whatever means necessary?
You'll tell them that they are invited to speak to us about our progress with this current crisis, and you will assure them that it is nothing more than an informal gathering of like minds, and you will ensure that they arrive.
Of course.
Very well.
Well, congratulations on your victory on the Void Planet.
Thank you. And then the screen cuts out.
And then I pick up a pillow and just scream into it for like a good solid 3 minutes.
Okay. I believe everyone has been asked to meet in the cargo hold.
There's one thing that I would like to do quickly before going to the cargo hold.
Sure.
And I'm going to make my way to Claire's quarters, knock on her door real quick.
I believe Bryn is there, right?
Probably. I'm just
You were
wrapping
in
up.
there. You were up to something. You were being very
I was.
sneaky when Tag talked to you. I don't know what you're up to. You were up to something.
Yes, I was.
I'm gonna let you handle it then.
Fine.
Oh. Hi, Bryn. I didn't expect to see you here.
Ditto.
Anyway, I turn to Claire and I say, how's snacks?
Excellent. Bryn, will you kind of tell us what's going on in the room here? What have you been up to?
Well, there's just like scraps of fabric behind me that I'm like kicking under a bed. And that's it. I just wanted to say hi to Claire, and I look at Claire and I wink, but I can't wink. I never figured out how to wink. But anyway.
Claire throws a thumb towards her 4-poster bed, and sitting on it is Snacks wearing a like a mesh pink tutu that's just been attached and kind of tied around the midsection of the little stegosaurus. And she says, "I taught Snacks a trick." And she looks at Snacks and says, "Roll over. Roll over. We're still working on it."
And I say, "That's great. It looks like you've taken really good care of Snacks. Do you mind if I borrow?" I realize I don't know that I ever determined a gender for Snacks. Snacks never told me their gender. And I don't really know much about a stegosaurus that's made of like crystals. So I just say, "Have you been a good creature? Have you been a good creature?" And I say, "Yeah, do you mind if I borrow Snacks for a minute?"
Sure. I'm just in here doing nothing with Bryn.
And I look at them a little suspiciously, but I'm still all jangled from talking to Kale. So nothing really, the whole like excitement is, I'm genuinely excited about Snacks, but I'm also just like forcing all of my energies into thinking about anything other than that conversation. So it's just like, okay, great. Well, good to see ya. Okay, I'll bring Snacks back later. Bryn, we should probably go check out the O2 sensors. That sounds like a really immediate problem.
Yep, totally. And let's do it. I look at Claire and I'm like, "Thanks so much for hanging out."
Yep.
And I snap a little leash onto Snacks, and they just trot along beside me.
Okay. We're going to cut to the cargo hold before anybody else gets down there. And it's just Sam kind of waiting for all of you who are taking forever to get down there. And Sam, as you're just kind of pacing and killing some time, Drang J, who I'm excited to figure out a voice for, approaches you, and they have a cart that's loaded with like odds and ends, a couple different containers of wires and some circuit boards. And Drang J says confidently, "So, I need to get into the cargo hold because I just got an alert from the bridge that the weapon system is beginning to malfunction."
Well, you should know there's perhaps a dangerous entity behind those doors.
Right. When I say malfunction, I don't mean that it's not working correctly. I do, in fact, mean that something is affecting the circuitry in a way that may start activating it.
All right. Well, I guess I'll be your wingman on this, and we'll just have to hope that the cavalry shows up sooner rather than later. I'm sure they're doing other important stuff as well.
You got it.
Hey,
You're gonna open the door?
I'm not.
Drang Day!
This guy's the one who wants to go in there with his wires and stuff. He's
Okay.
uh,
Drang
uh,
J approaches the larger door and clicks open, and the door shudders, opens half an inch, and then closes repeatedly before stopping. And in that time, a small amount of mist has escaped. And Drang J says, "Wow, if that wasn't an indication that everything that you said is probably going to come true, then I don't know what is." And he crosses over to the civilian door and attempts to open that one. There is just no response. And he says, "Well," pulling up kind of a screen that's on his forearm, says, we got to get in there, man."
all right. What is the power system like for Drang J? Is he strong enough to pry this thing open?
Probably not. You guys could try. He says, "I'm willing to try and pry this door open. We might damage it."
All right, I'm gonna go to like the control panel on the side of it and turn off, like try to disable the electronic compressor that would close the door, so that it basically like the valve release on it, so that we'd be able to then try to open it without actively having the having it engaged to try and stop us.
You're able to just turn the lock off, especially with Drang J there to help you. You're able to just disengage the lock, kind of put it into emergency mode where you would just be able to open it. When you go over to open the door, it pops open that inch and then is stopped. It feels like when you have a sliding glass door and you just walk over to open it real quick without remembering to take the little wooden broom handle out.
Sure.
And you can just, the both of you feel it just kind of like, like there's something on the other side that is blocking it.
Okay.
You are welcome to make a strength check if you'd like to pry this sucker open. You will get an additional +1 from Drang J.
Sure, I'll give it a try. I don't think so. But
Oh no.
This has been a bad rolling night.
I think that's probably just like a flat 8, maybe.
Oh.
Sorry, I have all of these different Void Jumper documents open. Nope, that's not the one. All right, just give me 1 sec. Yeah, that's an 8.
Okay. You are able to open it enough that you will not be able to pass through, but the two of you working together are able to pry it open enough that you think you could get a flashlight in there to peek around from outside.
Yeah, that seems like a crazy thing to do. I'm going to do that.
Okay. Looking inside, you can see that your flashlight beam bounces off some of that mist, which is collecting near the floor and, escaping out of the opening. It is a corrosive substance, but not fast acting enough that you feel like you would need to worry about it standing out here. You are a little worried about breathing it in. And you can see that there's what looks like maybe, as you're kind of like moving your flashlight around, it's reflecting off of what reminds you of like dew on leaves.
Okay.
On the walls. It's not in the open spaces, and you can hear like maybe like water dripping, It doesn't necessarily look like the cargo hold that you would have expected.
All right. I'm gonna go over to one of the like emergency decompression kits or something like that and get one like a little like respirator,
Yeah.
Something that you'd be using to like patch something up before you get blown out into space.
Yeah, you got it.
And then, is there any way that we've opened it enough that maybe one of us could wiggle our way through the cargo, the forklift bay part of it? Is there any way we could?
Drang J says, if you have that mask on, you may be able to use the air vent. It's a straight shot to the cargo hold.
Oh man.
When you're looking in there, you can see that what seems to have clogged the works of this is whatever the plant life is. It's like moss, vines. It seems to be curling up out of the mist and kind of wrapping itself into many different of the workings inside. Looking at the ceiling, you can see that the lights, most of them have been like wrapped with a vine, and then it has tightened so that the fluorescents have just like popped, which is why it's so dark in there.
Okay.
Whatever it is, this plant life seems to have like fucked with the machine.
All right. Well, let's just do it the old-fashioned way. Sam takes off his coat, rolls up his sleeves, and he's gonna go get in the air vent. It's his second time in an air vent. It can't go any worse than the last time.
Sure. It is a straight shot, so you're not going to need any kind of rolls to navigate, as I normally like to make you guys do. But it is the fog in here is dense. It is being like, even though you've taken out the filter, the workings of the O2 system are still pulling this fog slowly through. You do feel your skin start to get a little sensitive. You don't think that it's going to be a problem. If you were to lay in this stuff for an hour, you'd probably start to get blisters. You can feel that the fog is a bit corrosive, but you are able to army crawl your way down this vent. And at the end of it, there is just one other vent that you can pop off, which leads into the cargo bay.
All right, can I peek through the vent into the cargo bay?
Yeah, you see a bit more the same. The fog here is collecting around you, which makes it difficult to see. It seems to be pulled this direction by the vent itself. But now that you're here closer, you can see that the vent leading up to this opening is a bit wet. It is humid in here. You can kind of hear insects, maybe like the croak of some reptiles. There is a very strange scene in front of you. It is a bit dark, but you do see this fog and this plant life, and you know it's muggy, humid.
All right, I'm going to try to pop the vent off carefully, and I'm just going to be moving very sort of like slow, no rush. I'm not trying to start running around in this, Daegu Bud cargo bay.
Sure. Roll dexterity just to see how sneaky you are.
Okay, luckily one of those dice was sideways, so I'm going to re-roll that.
What's dex now?
Okay, that doesn't matter at all because it's still
Cool.
a Cinco de Drinko.
Okay. You step out of the vent into ankle-deep water.
Fuck.
And you hear fuck kind of echo in this cargo hold. It is very dark in here. A lone bulb flickers near the back and casts out a spray of sparks. And in that flash, you can see that there is a thick fog curling over the floor. It goes up about to your knees. It is wet in here and humid, swamp-like. There's a growth of mold, moss, lichen, vines, and ivy that has climbed up the walls and over all of the big cargo boxes and ammo things in here. It's starting to clog up the weapon system you can see as you move your flashlight around. And as you are looking, a shadow readjusts at the ceiling, and a rope of something sticky oozes to the floor right in front of you. And you hear it bloop, drop into the water at your ankles.
Not cool. I would like to look up at the origin source of that long strain of corrosive saliva, likely directly or near the ceiling area.
Sure. As you shine your light up there, you see a bat the size of a grizzly bear hanging from the ceiling upside down. It's covered in acid green scales which ooze that sticky substance from between their armored plates. Its eyes are blood red, its muzzle scarred. 2 large glandular earlobes crown its skull. A tickle of magic at the back of your neck as you see its earlobes flex and something cascades over you. And then the bat lets out an ear-piercing shriek, drops from the ceiling, and flies away into the darkness. So you are left only with that humming of insects and their sting as they start to congregate back around you and bite you.
Oh.
The rest of the party gets down into the cargo hold just in time to see Drang J step back from the crack in the cargo door, and an ear-piercing shriek echoes throughout the cargo hold.
What?
The hell was that?
We heard a scream?
Drang J turns around and says, your buddy is in the cargo hold.
Tag tries to open up the doors, finds him stuck. Hey, Sam?
You can hear them, Sam, through that, and as you turn over your shoulder, you can see a long crack of light from where the door is.
Awesome. I'm going to head over that way and see if there's any way I can remove whatever is impeding the opening of the door from this side.
Sure. Roll dexterity.
I'm going to try to just help. I know all of us on the other side are just helping kind of wrench it out of there. It seems like a very, clearly scary, unsafe situation, and we need to get our buddy out.
Sure.
Okay.
I put Snacks in a corner and I say, stay, unless it gets really dangerous, in which case, leave.
So with Tag's help and a 10 on a roll, you are able to cross through this swamp towards the door. Right before you get there, you hear the leathery rustle of movement, and a large form passes through the darkness in front of you. You are able to step back just in time as the hands on its wings grasp, and then it is gone again. And you are now standing at the door where your friends are on the other side trying to wrench it out.
Oh my gosh. And it's dark in here, right?
Bad
Yeah.
idea.
What, being on this ship, being alive, all of this is bad.
With the
He
two-
made it.
You got to be more specific.
All right, I'm going to try to help wedge open the door from this side.
Sure. If you're there to start cracking open these vines, and they're there to start wrenching the door from the other side, you're going to be able to do it. You're going to roll one more dexterity check before the doors are pried open, however. Sam.
All right. God, I wish I had some. I'm trying to karate chop these things. So it's just
This isn't for the door opening.
Yeah.
just.
Don't have a +1.
I'm so accustomed to being able to just be like, all right, fireball or sculpt matter, and now it's just no, you're just a dude. You're a dude. I'm not even the
Dude
main.
inside another dude.
7.
Okay. You are able to pry these vines and work them out of this door, kind of smashing them with the butt of your pistol if you still carry that thing. And at that moment, you are able to pry the doors open and see all of your friends when you are yanked off of your feet and pulled up into the darkness. And the three of you see a flash of acid green scales as Sam greets you and then is yanked back towards the ceiling and up into the darkness.
And I say, oh, hell no, he just got friendly.
And we are now going to be in our usual initiative roll, which brings us to Rex.
So at this point, have we pried the doors open?
You are now able to enter the cargo hold. There is light shining in from behind you from the docking bay, but it is otherwise dark inside. The ceiling primarily has been made very dark, where Sam disappeared towards.
because there is a bunch of like growth covering where the light would be coming from.
All of the lights seem to have been destroyed deliberately.
Interesting. Yeah, it would be really nice to have summon Fireball right now. But I think what I will do, I don't want to hit Sam, and I've been rolling so badly tonight. But I do think my first instinct would be to, now that I'm finally strong again, I can finally do physical things. I do think my first instinct would be to chuck Graflex in the direction that thing flew off.
Of course. You just got a Christmas present. You got to use it on Christmas Day.
There's not. This does not appear to be a malice-infected enemy, so you are not going to be getting that additional bonus, but you will just be rolling your attack, which is going to be strength.
Come on, baby. Ha! 12.
Okay. How much damage does that deal?
I think 3. Let me double check on that. It's been a while since I've used Graflex.
Okay. Rex steps into the cargo hold and instinctively whips Graflex up towards the ceiling, and you hear it smack. There is another screech, and Sam, you feel the talons that have been wrapped around you release, and you are now falling down towards the floor.
You're welcome!
You all see Sam fall from the darkness into the light and splash down into the swamp. Shortly after, you see what we're going to be calling the Elder Blightwing fall down out of the sky and land perched on top of a cargo box. There's just like these huge boxes in here that have like rations, supplies, money, like all kinds of stuff in here. And it lands on top of one of those things, almost crushing it beneath it. And its ears flare up, and all of you feel a wash of just like a tingle of magic on the back of you. You can tell that it's doing something. You're just not entirely sure what. Bryn.
You're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted. Don't say any great stuff yet. Save the great stuff. Start over.
Okay. It's super dark and it's a bat, so I want to grab my staff, and it feels so good to use magic again. And I want to shoot light into the room so it explodes in light.
Cool. Roll plus magic.
Okay. Odds are I'm gonna have to get this since there's been so many. 9.
Okay, cool. You blast a beam of light into the room, and it seems to reflect off of all of the wet surfaces in there, which is everything. The fog burns away as this beam pierces through and smacks this thing straight in the face. It screeches and falls off of the cargo backwards, taking some damage.
Yes.
When it gets back up, you can see that its eyes have actually been seared closed. Kind of looks like Neo from Matrix Revolutions. It does not seem perturbed, however, as its ears flex again and you all feel a little tingle, and it launches towards your party. Tag.
Tag out loud looks at Brandon, goes, okay, it's using some sort of sonar. Everyone be quiet so it does. Fuck, am I talking out loud?
Are you talking out loud?
I looked at the group.
Yes.
Rex is nodding. Yeah, anyway. Okay. I think we're going to just do classic tag. He's going to tune into the monster.
Do it.
13.
That is really good.
It is.
Yes.
On a 10 plus, hold 3. You get 3 questions.
What is it planning to do right now?
It's trying to protect itself.
Okay. Interesting. What does it regard as its biggest threat?
You, having yelled, shit, or fuck, am I talking out loud right now? You could see, not only could you see its ears kind of shift towards you, you could recognize that you were absolutely correct. It is now locked on to the loudest thing in the room, and you're getting a definite, like, that's where the danger is. That's where the danger is.
Okay. That kind of answers how can I attract its attention. So I'm going to modify that question to be, when you said it's trying to protect itself, is there anything else here that it's defending?
It seems to be a self-preservation.
Okay. Then I'm going to, on a 10 plus, I can realign my target's thoughts.
Mhm.
And I want to realign it to diffuse us as a threat.
Okay. You are able to prime it for this. You were correct in the assumption that silence is probably your friend. But you can see that it lands in the mud in front of you. It's got those little grasping claws on the joints of its wings, and it is perched in the mud, you know, rearing up, trying to look threatening as it is now in front of the group. Sam.
All right. Sam has this, like, he's climbs up out of the muck and out of the water and, like, brushes the water out of his face and sees the bat having turned its attention. The elder Blightwing. The elder Blightwing has turned its attention to the group, and Sam is going to. Let's see. He is going to charge at it with the intent of some reason of feeling like he thinks he can punch it. He's not thinking in his right mind. He's thinking in terms of being Puck, but the instinct is very strong to just run up and clock it.
Okay. That's going to be a strength. Are you trying to sneak up on it? Or are you just going all out?
Just going all out.
Okay, that's just going to be plus strength.
Oh, wow. That's a natural 12.
Sweet. With an unarmed strike, you're going to be dealing, well...
It's not going to do anything, you know. It's going to do like some dual damage or something like that.
So what happens is you slosh through the water, but you're close enough where you fell and it dropped that you don't have to move far. You're able to get the jump on it and you punch it in its back, kind of on its rumpus. And you deal 1 harm, which its armor, these oozing scales, absorbs, and its blight armor burns on melee contact. You take 2 harm, magic, and it turns around and hits you with a sonic spear. Its ears flex and a blast of sound waves flips you head over feet and does 3 magic damage as well.
Can I take my reaction with the new Puck ability, with the new Sam ability?
Yeah. Your shell of Puck springs forward just as the sound waves hit you, and you are pushed back several feet through the slime, but you are able to keep your feet as it reverberates with the sound and shatters as it passes over you. You've expended a charge, but also gained 1 point towards an ult. And you do not take the secondary damage. But your hand is still burning.
I put my hand in the water and try to, sliding back. Gee.
Rex.
Well, my plan was going to be to run up and hit him. But upon seeing Sam recoil, that doesn't seem like the smartest plan of action anymore. So, I'm just going to go with the tried and true and, try and take another long distance whack at it.
Amen.
You will recall Graflex before this, allowing you to do a little damage. Tag, they started punching it, okay? I stopped it. They started punching it.
It's all good. What happened is what happened, you know?
I'm just not taking the blame for this, okay?
I'm not saying that.
That is a 9.
Okay. You are able to swing Graflex at it again, and it slaps home, dealing some damage and bruising one of the creature's ears. It recoils and starts to try and move back into the shadows. You can see that it's trying to take flight again, but it's having trouble after this attack. Graflex bounces off and splashes down into the water. Probably not be an issue for you to find it since you can magically recall it. But the bat is now trying to get out of there and get back into the air. Bryn.
So you're saying this was not a maliced bat, correct? This is just
It was not. You saw something the first day that you spent on Blight when you first got your necklaces. There was a huge bat similar in shape and size to this, made out of bones, that was maliced, that rose out of the ground and attacked you. You could put that image together with this and say that they are most likely connected. This seems much closer to one of your summons in the way that those elder creatures have been corrupted in the past.
So this one's a Bitey McBlighty. I know. Okay, I feel a kinship with the bat, having been a vampire forever.
Forever.
And I kind of want to hypnotize it.
Okay.
I know I said I wasn't going to use that, but
no, you can. We're just going to be playing with some loose rules. I just might refine them. I just wanted you to know that we might refine them later. We're going to go with your regular hypnotizing rules that we've used in the past. So you're going to roll plus magic.
Yes, and I'm not a negative. Okay, that's a 9. That's a 9. But I could use a point
use your
from
plus
chat.
Would you like to use your point to go all the way?
Yes. Okay.
You reach out to hypnotize this thing, and you feel that connection that you were hoping to find. What do you? Before I tell you what happens, what are you communicating to this creature when you're hypnotizing them?
To go home.
Perfect. So this is how I think hypnotizing works, because it is different for Bryn than it was for a vampire.
Right.
The vampire hypnotism is based on classical vampires. It is very much a vampiric ability. I think that you are translating the result through your magic and getting there in a different way. And also kind of thinking about your connection to Tag and how you're able to telepathically communicate. All of these things is kind of you being a bit more vulnerable. You know, like it's the way Half Dad was able to interrupt it before. It's like this connection you're opening as Bryn.
It feels like I can find what they want and I can exploit it, is kind of what I was feeling.
Sure. And I think that in this, part of the way that will limit this ability is when you roll less than a 10. If you roll a failure, let's say, you're able to exploit that ability because you are making yourself vulnerable. You are asking for their truth by exposing your own. It's not like a forceful thing. It's more of like a manipulative kind of honest thing. Yeah. And so in doing so, you open this connection to the bat the first time you're trying to use hypnosis, and you say, go home. And in that moment, you find yourself knee deep in a very different swamp. It is dusk. It is very humid and muggy and altogether unpleasant. And it smells like Blight Planet. There's a giant tree rising from this murk before you. Giant. Its branches are gnarled and twisted, and its canopy is dense. In this place, you feel as though you're being watched. There is no breeze, yet the leaves near the top of this tree rattle. What do you do?
And nobody's with me?
You are very much in one of these places you find yourself in. vision of sorts made real
Right.
by the fate state. And it seemed to have been caused by this magical connection that you just had with a very powerful creature.
Right.
You are alone.
I'm gonna climb a tree to see if I can locate the source of the wind or the movement.
Sure. When you approach the tree, you can see that climbing it would be quite difficult. It is huge. But you don't necessarily need to see what's going on. When you get down near the roots and look up towards the top, you can see that the Elder Blightwing is there. It's hanging upside down from a very high branch, and its wings are wrapped tightly around its torso. Its head is tucked beneath them, as though it's hiding. Though you do see one eye, no longer damaged, curiously peeking out from under a wing, watching you. There is the faintest sensation of magic, as you're sure you were just examined by sonar, and its ears twitch.
I think I do a small bow to it, and I say I wish you no harm. I wanted to return you from where you came.
Okay. It moves very slowly, grabbing a branch higher up in the tree. And you can see that it is slinking away, the way that you see cats who know that they're in trouble, leaving a room. And it starts to climb up, but before it disappears into the denser part of the canopy, it stops for just a moment and looks back over its shoulder and gives you one of those really obvious winks you were giving Claire and disappears up into the leaves. And when the last bit of it goes away into the shadow, you are snapped back out into the vision, and everybody else sees Bryn reaching her staff forward and the Elder Blightwing coming apart in these tendrils of acid green energy. And the fear that it had as it was trying to flap away into the darkness seems to be leaving it. And it just allows itself to be consumed and absorbed into Bryn's staff. And as it does, the swamp in the cargo hold begins to fall away and turn into that mist and tornado up into her staff, so that one of those gems near the head of your staff, Bryn, starts to glow an acid green.
Oh my gosh.
And you are now in a cargo bay that is still dark because all of the lights were in fact destroyed. But Drang J calls from the open door and says, "Well, it looks like the weapons are no longer going to start misfiring."
Well, that's good. Since we're all together, I have something to present to you all. And I make a little light in the room so people can see. And I walk up to Sam and I pull out of my pocket a homemade bracelet that's the colors of Void. So it's like purple and black, and I basically cut off the bottom pants of the cargo pants and then decorated it with ribbons that I borrowed from Claire. And I give it to you, and I'm like, "Can I put it on your wrist?"
Is this a friendship bracelet?
Yes, but it's special. But I can only show you how special it is if I put it on your wrist.
I absolutely accept friendship bracelet.
Okay, I put it on. I'm like, it looks pretty plain, but if you smell it, you'll get a whiff of bourbon and fresh baked bread.
Oh,
I enchanted it.
Wow. That's a truly a friendship bracelet. That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I walk over to Rex and I give her a bracelet that represents the lightning planet. And it looks really plain because I didn't have a lot of options for ribbons for this. So it's just silver ribbons. And I tie it onto your wrists. And I'm like, I know it looks all incognito, but I did that because I know you don't like fancy stuff. But if you ever want to tap it and I tap it twice, it crackles with electricity. Hopefully it's not too flashy.
It's perfect.
And Tag, I made you this bracelet and I pull it out and it's the colors of Fire Planet. I know you don't really have a home, but my planet can be your home. And I put it on his wrist and I say, this one is super special. If you touch it to your heart, it'll give you a sense of home. So if you ever feel alone, you can activate it that way and know that you have all of us.
And Tag interrupts Bryn and he gives her a hug. And it's kind of it's a strange moment because they're so close, but I don't think he's ever done this before. Because there has been a sort of professionalism amongst friends, but he doesn't even think about that. He just hugs her.
I thought this was way better than underwear badges.
It's so sweet. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I think this scene, which takes place in the cargo hold in the dark, lit by Bryn's magic, after she has just kind of piggybacked on Tag's desire to diffuse the situation and absorb this creature and let it be hidden and safe, ends, and all of you walk past Drang J, who loads in a bunch of wires and cables and shit. And you all return, and I think after the events of the day, disperse back to your quarters, and you're all in your private quarters, preparing for bed in whatever way you all do, when you all see that there is a comm message waiting for you. And when you click it, it's CNAC88, and he says, hey, y'all, I finally got that video from the professor working. I talked to him about the underwear badges. They're on the way. But good luck out there. Here's a video from your old friend.
Greetings, friends. This is Dr. Baxter Brodigan coming to you from
on your video screens
an undisclosed
before the
location.
Credits roll. This final message.
I've made some big steps in my pursuit to undermine and perhaps unravel the company, but I am a bit wary on sharing those details with you on a message I'm not even sure is going to reach you. I gave this message to CNAC88 just in case he might come in contact with your party. Look for another message from me. It'll be encrypted. Bryn, the
Rex just keeps touching her bracelet over and over just to see the lightning every time.
This is Dr. Baxter Brodigan coming to you from an undisclosed location.
Video, I think.
I've made some big steps in my pursuit to undermine and perhaps unravel the company, but I am a bit wary on sharing those details with you on a message I'm not even sure is going to reach you.
Maybe there's a delay.
I gave this message to CNAC88 just in case he might come in contact with your party. Look for another message from me. It'll be encrypted. Bryn, the key to unlocking the encryption is the same sequence of runes that I showed you on your staff to invite your tall arachnid friend. More later. Till then, bye.
What?
Blackout.
Oh my gosh. I love Haven episodes. I think they're some of my favorite.
They're fun.
They're so fun.
Yeah, I like it.
So wacky.
I'm gonna have to watch this later to find out what he said.
Yeah, I want to know too.
I know, that's so exciting. I guess, okay, so we're late. So, real quick question. What's a food you hated as a kid that you still hate?
Cottage cheese.
Oh.
Easy.
And green beans.
I was gonna say peas, But I feel like in the last 2 or 3 years, I've been reintroduced to peas. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. So up until about 2 or 3 years ago, peas.
Asparagus?
Oh, I don't remember distinctly hating asparagus as a child, but I absolutely loathe it as an adult. It's awful. It's terrible.
God, I love it. That's so funny.
Ugh.
For me, I think red Tabasco. Love hot sauce, love green Tabasco, love other Tabascos. Just don't like the standard red Tabasco. My mother used to put it in her ketchup with her French fries, so I just have like a very distinct memory of having it as a child.
Oh, mine's beets.
Oh, you're missing out.
No, they
Beets
taste
are
like
great.
dirt. Like I'm eating dirt. I have a very big disgust. with those.
I like the dirt
so
part
dumb.
of beef.
Yeah, they're gross. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thanks to Mark for running our tech. Woo!
Yay.
Exciting there. And thank you to Merkworky, our mod, for modding chat and keeping things in line. And she wrote a couple new fan fictions that in the Discord. You can check them
They're
out.
amazing.
They're really, really, really great. Thank you to Aaron Buman for our intro and our music and all our fancy stuff. All of our little what are the cutaways? I don't know what those are called. Bumpers. They're called bumpers. Those things. He's so talented. Thank you so much. Thank you to Zoe for hosting us. Tomorrow we have Zoe Game Night with Trin and Mark. Woo! And we've got a brand new show called The Reliables that's premiering on Monday. Super duper exciting with Christian and James and a whole bunch of people. So you should definitely check it out. We are taking next week off because it is the inauguration day. But we will be back in 2 weeks with season 5. So see you guys then.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Boy, howdy.